Hi everyone, it's Sherry. I hope that you're having a wonderful day. It's time for some last minute Christmas crafting. Stay tuned. Welcome to my channel. I am so glad that you took time out of what has to be a busy day to be a part of this, because today we're going to do some last minute Christmas crafting. We are going to make the most awesome Christmas bag, and I hope that you can see this, but I'll be giving you a closer look in just a minute. But this is a beautiful bucket style Christmas bag, and it is made using some very non-traditional paper. This is not a Christmas paper, but we're making it work for Christmas. So if you like red, white, and black for Christmas, you're going to love this project. Even if you don't, this is a great any season, any reason gift bag. So y'all know what time it is. It's time to make it. Here is a closer look at this absolutely gorgeous Christmas bag. It is bucket style, so we have a rounded bottom, but it flares out, and it is so easy to make and so stinking cute. We are using what is a non-traditional Christmas paper, but because of the colors, this is going to work for Christmas. So this is another example of how we can take non-traditional papers and incorporate them into our crafting for any season, any reason, any gender. So this bag, when finished, it is 8 inches tall. When measured from the top, it's going to be a good 10 to 11 inches across the top. And then the base of it is approximately 7 inches round in a circle. So this is a gorgeous style. I think that you guys are really going to enjoy making these. They are super easy, very sturdy. And if you have that special gift that you want to give to someone, what an awesome way to present it in a bag like this. And then I just added a little tag to the front that says, "Have yourself a merry little Christmas." And on the back, there is some writing space. So if you wanted to write to and from before you put the tag on, you can. Super simple. Here's what we're going to need. I am going to keep my camera raised at an elevated height because we are going to be dealing with a large piece today. So I have 2 pieces of lightweight chipboard that I'll be using inside the bag to act as a handle stabilizer. So it's these pieces that you see right here. So I'll have 2 of those, and they measure 1 by 7. I have a circle that I just rough cut, and it's approximately 7 inches around. So if you're using a circle cutting template, a 7-inch circle is what you need. Or if you're looking for a way to cut it because you don't have a template, look around your house and find something that has approximately 7 inches or maybe 6.5, and then just cut around the outside of it, which is exactly what I did here. I don't have a circle cutting template, didn't want to pull out my Cricut for this, so what I did was I took the base of a lamp and I just traced around it to get my shape, and then I rough cut it. Then we're going to need 3 pieces of 12 by 12 that are the same pattern, and I'm using a lightweight scrapbook paper for this because I want it to be a bag, just a plain old bag, not heavily constructed, just a bag. And then I have 1 piece of contrasting 12 by 12 that I'm going to be using to cover this base when I lay it down inside of the bag. So that is 3 pieces of the same pattern, 1 piece of a contrasting pattern. Or if you want to mix and match that pattern, you certainly can. So I'm bringing in my scoreboard so that I can show you just how easy this is to make. Now this paper was purchased from Hobby Lobby. The name of the paper is Handkerchief. I am going to place it in, grab my stylus, and I'm going to make a score at 3.5. And then I'm going to rotate it to the opposite end and make a score at 3/4 of an inch. Then I'll take my second piece, put it in. We're going to make our score at 3.5. Then we're going to rotate it and make that score at 3/4 of an inch. So now I'm going to take my tape, and on one piece only, I am going to use 1-inch tape, and I am going to take the tape and place it along the edge. My 3-inch score is running this way. My 3/4 inch score is running this way. And so now I can peel away my tape backer. We are ready to place down the second piece. So you want to make sure that you have this 3.5 inch score aligned with this 3.5 inch score. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to match up my 3.5 inch score marks as best I can. And then that will help me with the rest of my placement. So now we can just burnish that joint piece. We're going to go ahead and just take our scores, fold them over. We'll burnish this one. I'm going to go ahead and just add a strip of tape, and I'm going to use that 1-inch tape again. And I am adding the tape all the way across. And then I'll lift away the tape backer, and we're just going to fold this over and get it stuck. Now I'll use my bone folder, get that nice and stuck. We will go ahead, fold and burnish that 3.5 inch score mark. So now that we have that folded and burnished, here's what we're going to do. We need to go up to the score mark, and we need to make some cuts. I am going to make my cuts about 1/2 inch in width. And we're making these cuts because anytime you are rounding your paper or your chipboard, you need to make a series of cuts so that what wants to fold straight will take on a curved shape. So I'm going to go all the way across doing this. All right, and I'm almost at the end. Make our last 2. So this is what you're basically going to have. You're going to have a fringed edge. Now I'm going to turn it, and we are going to add tape right on the score mark and coming up to the end. Like that. Make sure that I have that tape nice and stuck. Remove the tape backer there. So now all we need to do is take this, move in about 1 inch, and just lay it down. And now I can go on the inside and get that stuck. So now that I have it like this, I'm going to take my circle template and just put it on the inside to see what type of a fit I have. And I can tell that my circle is a little bit too tight. So I'm just going to go around and trim away some of the circle. And like I said, guys, this is not going to be a perfect circle, but it is going to work. So once we've trimmed it, we need to do that same test. So now I'm going to put it back in and just sort of round it around that piece. I can see that I have a shape that I can work with. So we're going to set this over to the side. I am going to bring in my tape, And I'm just going to lay down some tape on this piece. Now I could run this through my Xyron, but I'm just going to lay down a few strips of tape. And then we will cover this so we will have a nice finished base on this. So I'm removing that excess tape. And now we'll peel away the tape backer. We're going to take this piece and I'm going to put it down, and then I'll trim out around it. First, I'm just going to make sure I have a nice stick on that. And now I'm just going to use my scissors, trim around. And get this cut out. I guess I could have used some larger scissors for this, but that's okay. And now this is the base. I am going to take some more tape. We're going to put tape here on the base. And that way all of those little pieces that we cut will have something to grab onto initially. So I am just going to trim away the excess. And I'll peel away my tape backer. So now that we have the tape on the back, I've brought this back in. I'm standing for this part because I want to try to get it as well placed as I can. So I'm just going to push that down. Now I have a nice base bottom on this, and when I flip it over you can see that not all of these are stuck, but that's okay because we're going to fix that. So I'm okay with how that looks. Hopefully you are too. So this is the template that I've been using when I trace the lamp base. So I am going to bring in that third piece of 12 by 12, and I'm going to use that for this as well as those stabilizer pieces that we're going to put on the inside. So I'm going to take my pen and I'm just tracing a rough little circle. And again, I'll bring in my scissors so that we can cut out the circle. And this time I'm actually cutting inside the circle just a little bit, maybe a 1/16 of an inch. All right, so now that we have this cut out, again guys, it's not perfect, but we're going to take this and place it on the bottom just like that, and that's going to sandwich in everything that did not attach to the chipboard base. So I have my adhesive on the back, and all I'm going to do is place this down. So now I'll stand it up, and I'm going to go on the inside and just let the base of my desk flatten everything out. So now I'm going to take my 2 strips of lightweight chipboard that are 1 by 7, and we're going to put those down on our paper. And then I'm just going to trim these out. So now we have these two. We're going to bring our bag back in, and all we need to do is wherever you want to start pinching, pinch. And how far down you go is completely up to you. But I'm pinching so that I can get this shape that you see, because that is giving me that bucket shape that I want. And I am very pleased with how this bag has turned out. So now I'm going to take these two, and when we put them down, we're simply going to put them down on the inside right there beneath that original fold over piece. And to put them down, I'm going to use my 1-inch tape. Now, ordinarily, you would see me glue these down, but I'm not gluing this down because we are going to be adding some of those metal snaps, and that is going to be an extra layer of hold on this. So let's put those right there. And so now I'm going to peel away the tape backer. We're going to take this one piece, and I'll try to hold it so that you can see what I'm doing. And you probably won't be able to see because I need this to be flat. So all I've done with it is I have taken it and placed it right there. Then I'll flip it over to the other side, and we're going to do the same thing. So I'm just going to take this, put it in, go in with my bone folder to make sure it's nice and stuck on both sides. And now from the top, you can see that in our bag. So now we have our first layer of protection on holding our straps. We're also going to add another layer of protection. So now we need to make our straps. And to make the straps, we are going to be joining two pieces that measure 1 by 14. So I use poster board for this. If you only have 12-inch, you can use 12-inch because the length of your handle is completely up to you. So if you don't have that 14-inch poster board, don't stress over it. Just use what you have. So basically what I'm doing is I'm layering the two pieces together. So I layered the two pieces that were 1 by 14. I can see that I have just a little bit of overhang and tape, and I'm just going to trim that away. So I know that I want some type of a decorative end on this. I don't want it just to be the block. So I am going to just trim this a little bit until I have the shape that I want. Let me trim this one just a little bit more, not a lot. And then I'll do the same thing on this one. So basically all we did to make our handles is we layered two pieces of 1 by 14 poster board. Like I said, if you only have 12-inch cardstock, that's fine. Just layer two pieces of that. So what I'm doing right now is helping this thick handle to curl. And to put the handle on, we just take the first part, we're going to glue that down, and then we bring around the second part and we put that down. And it's going to look like that. So I am going to do that part with glue. You can use hot glue on this piece if you want. I am just going to use my handy dandy Reptile. Going to be very generous with it. Take this first piece, put it down, and I'm making sure that this is hitting that reinforcement piece that we put on the inside. So I'm just going to make sure that I have that nice and straight. Then I'm going to use my paper piercer to go in and pierce a hole. And then I need to use this one to go in and make that hole just a little bit bigger. And now I'm going to use my metal snaps, and this time I decided to use gold. I have these linked in the description box below. So if you just click on that Amazon storefront link in the description box, it's going to take you to a page that will show you some of the items that I use on my videos. So you have a little snap head. I'm going to take that snap head, put it on. Then I'm going to take my chunky little hammer and beat that snap head into place. So now we have our second layer of protection on our handle. So we have that reinforcement piece, we tape that down, then we glued down the handle, we reinforce the placement of that handle with this snap. And then we'll do the same thing on the other half of this handle. So now I'll take this and I'm just going to turn it and try to match it with that first one. So once I think I have my match, I'll use my paper piercer, try to line up my hole. Then I'm going to make that hole just a little bit larger for the snap head or for the snap prong. And then I'm going to take this part of the snap, we're going to put it in, and then I'm just going to push it through the hole like that. Then I'll grab the snap head and I'm going to put it on. And guys, I'm calling these snaps. I have them linked in the description box so you can get exactly what it is that I'm using. Please don't leave me comments telling me that I'm calling this the wrong thing, because I do have the accurate item listed in the description box. So I'm calling them metal snaps. If you want to call them something else, that's great. So for the purposes of my video, I'm calling these metal snaps. So I am going to take my hammer and just beat that snap head into place. And I know that the way I'm setting my snaps is not the way that a professional snap setter would set it, but it did just work. So this is how I'm going to do it. So now we're going to do the same thing on the back of our bag. I am going to take my glue and place my glue on this piece. And we're just going to try to match it with that front piece, making sure that we have this on the reinforcement piece of chipboard that we put on the inside. And I know that you guys get tired of hearing me make the disclaimer about the snaps, especially if you've been with me for a while, but I cannot tell you how tiring it is for me to constantly have comments of correction telling me that I should not be calling them metal snaps, that they are this or they are that, and I shouldn't be using my hammer because that's not how you're supposed to do it. Let's just do what works for us. And when you're doing yours, if the way that I'm doing it is not the way that you would do it, then make sure that when you're doing it, you do it the way that you would do it. And I know that sounds a little snippy, but I have absolutely no doubt that I am going to get no less than 5 comments about this very issue, even after I've said all of this. So I'm going to take my hammer and I am going to pound and set that snap. So now we'll take the second half of that back strap. We're going to add our glue. We're going to take this and roll it over and get it placed. So then I'm just going to make sure that my strap handles are the same length, and they appear to be. So now I can take my paper piercer. I'm going to pierce a hole here. And then I'm just going to make that hole a little larger. And now I'm going to take this part of the snap, put it through that hole. Then I'll take the snap head, place it on top. And now I can take my chunky little hammer and just pound that snap into place. And y'all, there's our beautiful, beautiful Christmas bucket bag. I can tell you, this is so gorgeous. So we are going to take this, and I want to add just a little tag. So I have some twine. I am just going to take that twine, put it through, and I'm going to tie this tag to the bag. And we're done. And so there, that's it. Look at how gorgeous this is. My camera is not capturing the whole thing unless I turn it this way, but you can see just how beautiful this is. And if you have any roughness sticking out at the bottom, and I really don't see any, but if you do, just take something and go around the base until you sort of have corrected whatever roughness might be there. But I love how this bag turned out. And we have another tag, and on the back we can write our Christmas message. And on the front, all I want for Christmas is you. So that is it. So I have brought that first one back in. Hopefully you guys are able to get somewhat of a look at both of these, because they were super easy to make, as you just saw, and they're super cute and gorgeous. So make your Christmas gift stand out by placing it in a bag like this, and all of those inexpensive gifts we've been making are perfect for this bag as well. So guys, I hope that you have enjoyed this super awesome bucket style gift bag that we can give for Christmas or any season, any reason. If you have liked this video, please hit the like button. If you are not a subscriber to my channel, I would love to have you join this amazing online crafting family. You guys, as always, please be safe, be kind, happy crafting, and we'll chat later. Bye.